Hello, fans of Just Stories. I'm your narrator and author, Montgomery Sterling McGale. Yeah, but you can call me Monty. Today's story is chapter 5 of Tuppy Diggers. If you've missed the first four, yeah, press the rewind and go back to chapter 1 and catch yourself on up. All right. Without further ado, let us proceed with Chapter 5 of Tuppy Diggers. It is entitled Diana. Few blocks from our park were empty lots where houses would soon be constructed. Neatly stacked piles of straw bales attracted active fort builders like army ants to a piece of discarded orange. Straw bales were used by construction companies when frozen ground needed to be thawed in order to dig it more easily to bury services, sewer pipes, and dig basements. A layer of straw would be laid down on chunks of coal saturated in kerosene, ignited, and left to simmer on the bed of straw till the ground was warm and more easily penetrated by digging tools, usually after a few days of smoldering. Repositories of straw bales were on the outskirts of the neighborhood. They became fort cities which hosted endless games of war, hide and seek, cops and robbers, or cowboys and Injuns. We built and rebuilt forts of bales, denizens of darkness you could crawl through, sneak a glance at your enemy, take aim, and pronounce your best bang bang, you're dead, while blowing smoke from the end of your finger gun, to which your bitter enemy would state most emphatically, no way, you missed. Argument bantered back and forth. Elements of personal attributes were brought forth for consideration, i.e., relative amount of stink each possessed, and perhaps some mention of the fact that one's lineage contributed to the distinct lack of beauty contained in the facial zone. These elements could be blended into double or triple slurs that tested language skills and mental dexterity of the deliverer. More often than not, verbal encounters escalated to physical. Wrestling was the arbiter. Should you be successful in pinning an opponent, your point was made. This rarely happened, as strength and skill amongst same sized rivals was fairly similar. One tussled to the point of exhaustion with no firm resolution as to who was shot or not. At this point, mid tumble, one of my female patients sauntered up and interrupted our prostrate discussion. Would I be more interested in playing with her? I responded in the affirmative. Broke off arbitration with my sworn enemy. We exchanged barbs about each other's cowardice and said our warm goodbyes. Female cohort and I wandered off. Not far from the straw bale battleground was a sandy ditch where we dug holes with our hands in the crumbly bank. A road passed over the ditch about 50 yards from where we played, ambled in that direction. Under the road at the end of our ditch was a concrete drainage tube. We crawled in, scant room to move. Once in the middle of the culvert, we took off our clothes and sat on the cool concrete surface.
Oh my God. I never did that when I was a kid.
You obviously missed out. Sound of our voices made a slight echo in our play tube as a breeze floated around us. We had found a magic spot. Sitting there naked, I couldn't decide if this was better than playing war and wrestling. While entertaining that thought, a large truck drove over our secret spot and shook us to the core. Yes, this was better. Dump trucks hauled debris somewhere. Every few minutes, the rumble of multiple axles just inches overhead made us shriek with a combination of laughter and fright. For a couple of 5-year-old kids with no clothes on, we felt a new world had been discovered. Between ground-pounding sessions, we marveled at the planet and all it had to offer. School was a week away. Summer days of leisure took on a new urgency as thoughts of being indoors for hours on end didn't fill most boys, myself especially, with great enthusiasm. Many things changed once I entered the halls of grade 1, including attitudes of general perception. Left pretty much to my own devices in preschool days to form opinions based on observation and facts at hand, the school dynamic was much more concentrated and intense. One notion to fly out the window was my perception of girls. Up to this point, girls had been a source of naked delight. Now that I was to be educated, first order of business, girls are icky. Girls play on that side of the field during recess. Furthermore, girls are in possession of a noxious organism called cooties. They will swear up and down that they are not. Finger of accusation will be pointed at us, the far superior males.
Oh my God.
We have a program of cootie protection that will keep you free of infestation. You have to say, I have cootie protection. And that should do the trick. Okay. Sometimes it helps to put an X on your arm with ink. And you can show that as well, just to be official. But usually just saying it is enough. Girls took on the status of ick. Educated by my peers in the realm of cooties, learning curve of grade 1. She lived directly across the street. Because of that, we were classed as neighbors, and a certain amount of socializing sprang from this proximity. Diana was a large girl and had taken a shining to me. I did not reciprocate her enthusiasm, newfound knowledge girls / cooties. Forced by mother to be nice, I put on a brave face and politely played with our neighbor from across the rue. Not one I invited into forts for bi-monthly checkups. Diana towered over me and had a distinct reach advantage that I didn't think I could have nullified with the strength of a badger nor the cunning of a fox. In her pleasant presence, I felt life and limb could be rent asunder, should her gentle mood be tipped in the other direction. Dark side I never wished to visit must always be mollified with equally graceful gestures and platitudes, lest the beast be released. One more thing. She hurt me. Just my eyes. Every time I looked at her, I feigned a little smile and was politely quiet as mother had drummed into us. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Thought my eyes would bleed at the sight of her. Combination of factors had me on eggshells whenever she came over to dote. Softly, I mumbled the anti-cootie mantra. With trepidation, I saw her approach the yard and make a beeline towards me. If only I could perfect the art of slingmanship, this David could take down Goliath and be free of the burden. Knowing my luck, I would just graze the side of her head, temporarily stop her in her tracks, puts a hand to her gash, touches the trickle of blood, brings it to her field of vision. Diana would look me in the eye, sling dangling from my hand. She'd go berserker. World would turn to black. No, couldn't risk it. Smile, mumble mantra. Diana waltzed up with gusto and handed me an envelope. You're invited to my birthday party. Half-heartedly thanked her. Off she went to spread the good word to other playmates. Slunk into the house with the weight of a social burden. Birthday party. Did not want to go to a gathering at her house. Would have to pretend to like her for hours. Sure, there would be cake and probably ice cream. No doubt they'd have hot dogs and pop, more than likely candy, and I could probably receive seconds of cake and ice cream without having to ask, and I could eat as many hot dogs as possible, but I'd be forced to kiss her on the cheek. No, not worth it, not going. Before I could even produce the document, Mum asked about the invite. I hoped to leave it undetected and let time take its course, could plead ignorance after the fact or insanity. How did Mum know what was going on everywhere? Big day came, dressed in my Sunday best. Dragged my heels as I shuffled across the street with a ribbon gift in hand. Little card on it read, "To Diana from Monty, XO." I had no idea what X and O meant. As I climbed her steps, I transformed my long face to the false smile I had come to love and enjoy. A small inked X that I understood on my forearm, covered by my white shirt and blazer, offered me a certain level of cootie protection, just in case. Diane greeted me at the door. I stuck the gift out and said, "Here, this is for you." Bolted past her, joined about a dozen kids gathered in the living room. When a few more revelers arrived, our nattily clad group went to the backyard where decorations and tables were set up. Place was ready for a party. Colorful paper tablecloths with festive themes were weighted down with every fun food and liquid our minds could imagine. Old Dutch rippled potato chips and dip, punch bowl with real hunks of fruit floating in a sea of bright pink, mounds of formed jello, cupcakes and bottles of pop, containers of ice cubes and tongs, pickles and sliced tomatoes, hot dog and hamburger buns, cheese and every manner of cutlery, plates and napkins. The place impressed my sulking demeanor. Fake smile started to take on a tinge of sincerity. Diana's old man cracked open the barbecue and yelled, "Who's hungry?" Before you knew it, 15 kids were fat and sassy. As opposed to our home, food was more of a survival tactic for Diana and her clan. She enjoyed a plate of food, or two, or three. When all were sated and felt good about themselves, it was time to be social. Musical chairs. Tables pushed aside, kids with party hats cautiously circled chairs that were in a neat back-to-back row. One more person than number of chairs. Music stopped. Butts stabbed at chairs with the inevitable squeeze play that left someone standing. Remove a chair, and the lone stander. Continue. Sanctioned roughhousing lifted even the most jaded of attitudes. Read me. As kids tumbled in the physical play between girls and boys, everyone loosened as laughter and shouting spread a joyful contagion. Winner was established, hand held high for all to cheer. Diana's size advantage trumped all at musical chairs. Now exchange hats. Next activity Diana's mom had us perform. Only one rule. You can't touch the other hat. Your partner has to put his or her hat on your head. No sweat. Most pranced about with the bright version of a mini dunce cap. A few kingly crowns and tiaras thrown into the mix. They all, however, had a thin white elastic securing them to our noggins. More than one person received a good snap to the bottom of the chin as their fitting was entrusted to the other. Some enjoyed delivering a good snap to the chin more than others, as the hat exchange was done half a dozen times. My joy at this party grew with every snapped cap. Pin the tail on the donkey brought with it more laughter and pointing. Happy kids had a hoot at Diana's party. Cake was paraded out, and we feted the birthday girl with the usual off-key, too slow version of the most sung song in the world. Diana beamed. Ice cream applied to cake. We enjoyed a bit of a slowdown. Diana opened her gifts and graciously thanked each person as the hearty in the party went for seconds of cake and ice cream. Party wound down. I didn't want it to end. Where did the last 3 hours go? Diana said goodbye and gave me a hug. I didn't mind. It was a great party, and I told her so. Kissed her cheek. Ran across the street with a skip in my step. Diana's okay. Washed the X from my forearm.